Dealerships want you to spend $80,000 on a new truck. These modern pickups are rolling computers packed with fragile sensors, complex turbochargers, and 10-speed transmissions that fail right after the factory warranty ends. You are told this is the unavoidable price of modern capability. It is not. You can buy a reliable workhorse for a fraction of that cost. There is a hidden market of older, forgotten pickup trucks built with simple, proven engineering. Today, we are looking at 3 dirt-cheap trucks that the modern market ignores. Number 1 will outlast your house. Let us find your next truck. The modern truck problem. Before we look at the specific vehicles you should buy, you must understand why modern trucks are a poor financial investment. In the past, trucks were designed for utility. They featured naturally aspirated engines, thick steel frames, and basic interiors you could wash with a hose. Today, the pickup truck has replaced the luxury sedan as the primary status symbol for the American family. To meet the demands of luxury buyers and strict federal fuel economy standards, automotive engineers have compromised long-term durability. Modern V8 engines use cylinder deactivation systems. These systems shut down half of the engine cylinders while you drive on the highway to save fuel. Over time, the internal lifters that control this system fail, destroying the engine camshaft. Other manufacturers rely on small displacement engines equipped with twin turbochargers. Under the heavy load of towing a trailer, these turbochargers generate extreme heat, causing plastic cooling components to melt and internal bearings to fail. You do not have to participate in the cycle of debt and mechanical failure. By stepping back just 1 or 2 generations, you can purchase vehicles built with heavy cast iron, traditional port fuel injection, and simple automatic or manual transmissions. These older trucks may not have heated steering wheels or giant tablet screens in the dashboard, but they possess something far more valuable: mechanical certainty. When you turn the key in the morning, they will start. When you put them in gear, they will move. Let us look at the first forgotten truck on our list. Number 3, the Nissan Frontier. When buyers look for a reliable mid-size truck, they automatically search for a Toyota Tacoma. Because of the heavy demand, used Tacomas sell for an extreme premium. Buyers pay high prices for trucks with over 200,000 miles. Sitting quietly in the shadow of the Tacoma is the D40 generation Nissan Frontier. Nissan sold this exact generation of the Frontier from 2005 all the way until 2019, with almost no major aesthetic changes. Automotive journalists criticized the Frontier for being an ancient dinosaur. The interior felt old, the exterior styling was dated, and the technology was obsolete. However, that lack of change is exactly why you should buy one. By producing the exact same truck for over a decade, Nissan engineers had the time to work out every single mechanical flaw. You must specifically target the 2011 to 2019 model years. You must avoid the 2005 to 2010 models. Those early production years suffered from a catastrophic engineering defect known in the mechanical community as the strawberry milkshake of death. The internal barrier inside the radiator would rupture, allowing engine coolant to mix directly with the automatic transmission fluid. This mixture would travel into the transmission, destroying the clutch packs and requiring a complete transmission replacement. Nissan solved this radiator design flaw by 2011. The core of the Frontier is the VQ40DE engine. This is a 4.0-liter V6 engine that produces 261 horsepower and 281 pound-feet of torque. The VQ engine family is one of the most celebrated architectures in Nissan history, utilized in everything from their sports cars to their full-size vans. It features an aluminum engine block, aluminum cylinder heads, and a heavy-duty timing chain. Unlike modern engines equipped with direct injection, the VQ40DE uses traditional port fuel injection. This means gasoline washes over the back of the intake valves, keeping them clean and preventing the heavy carbon buildup that plagues modern direct-injected trucks. The engine is paired with an RE5R05A 5-speed automatic transmission. This is a traditional torqueless converter automatic transmission, not one of the fragile, continuously variable transmissions that Nissan puts in their sedans. When you test drive a Frontier, you will notice the engine provides excellent low-end torque. A property manager named David bought a 2012 Frontier to handle maintenance tasks across multiple apartment complexes. He used the truck to haul water heaters, bags of concrete, and heavy tools. He drove the truck through harsh city traffic and unpaved access roads. Because the powertrain is fundamentally simple, he crossed 250,000 miles performing nothing beyond routine fluid changes. The Frontier sits on the F-Alpha platform, a fully boxed ladder frame. While some mid-size competitors use a lighter C-channel frame in the rear to save weight, the Frontier uses a boxed frame from the front bumper to the rear bumper. This provides excellent structural rigidity when carrying heavy payloads or navigating uneven off-road terrain. The front suspension utilizes a double wishbone design, while the rear relies on traditional solid-axle leaf springs. Depending on the configuration, the Frontier can tow up to 6,500 pounds. The bed is available with a factory spray-in bed liner and the UtiliTrack cargo tie-down system, making it incredibly practical for securing odd-sized loads. Before you purchase a Frontier, you must check 3 specific areas. First, inspect the timing chain wind. Early VQ engines suffered from premature wear on the plastic timing chain guides. While Nissan mostly fixed this by 2011, you must still start the engine cold and listen closely to the front timing cover. If you hear a high-pitched whine that increases in pitch as you press the gas pedal, the timing chain guides are worn and need replacement. This is a heavy repair. Second, check the rear axle seals. Crawl underneath the rear of the truck and look at the back side of the rear wheels. The axle seals are prone to leaking gear oil. If you see thick black grease coating the inside of the rear tires or dripping down the brake backing plates, the seals have failed. If left ignored, the gear oil will soak the rear brake shoes, ruining your braking performance. This is a moderate repair. Third, inspect the heater core connections. The plastic inlet and outlet hoses going into the firewall become brittle from engine heat. If you smell sweet engine coolant inside the cabin or see green fluid leaking near the passenger side floorboard, the heater core or the plastic fittings have cracked. To keep this truck running forever, you must follow a strict maintenance schedule. Change the engine oil and filter every 5,000 miles. Drain and fill the 5-speed automatic transmission fluid every 40,000 miles. If you buy a 4-wheel drive model, replace the gear oil in the front differential, rear differential, and transfer case every 40,000 miles. Because the general public views the Frontier as a boring, outdated truck, the depreciation is steep. You can find well-maintained, clean examples, with around 100,000 miles for $10,000 to $15,000. This is often $5,000 to $8,000 less than a comparable Toyota Tacoma. If this deep dive into the Nissan Frontier gave you a new perspective on mid-size trucks, hit the subscribe button right now. We strip away the marketing hype to show you the vehicles that will actually protect your wallet. A mid-size truck with a heavy-duty frame is a great tool, but what if you need a truck that can fit inside a small suburban garage and costs pennies to maintain? Our next pickup is a legend of the compact era. Number 2, the Ford Ranger. Today, the term mid-size truck is deceiving. Modern mid-size trucks are nearly as large as the full-size trucks from 20 years ago. True compact trucks are entirely extinct. If you want a small, honest pickup truck that you can easily park in a crowded city or maneuver through narrow trails, you must look back at the second-generation Ford Ranger. Ford produced this iteration of the Ranger from 1998 all the way to 2011. During this 13-year run, the Ranger became the default fleet vehicle for auto parts delivery stores, municipal utility companies, and pest control businesses. It was chosen because the cost of ownership was remarkably low and the mechanical components were easily accessible. When shopping for a Ranger, you will encounter 3 primary engine options, but you should focus on 2 specific choices depending on your needs. If you want maximum fuel efficiency and do not need to tow, look for the 2.3-liter Duratec 4-cylinder engine. This engine was introduced in mid-2001. It features an aluminum block, a durable timing chain, and dual overhead camshafts. It produces 143 horsepower. While it will not win any drag races, it is incredibly efficient and practically indestructible. If you need more torque for hauling, you must find a Ranger equipped with the 3.0-liter Vulcan V6 engine. This is a cast iron block, cast iron cylinder head, pushrod engine. It produces 148 horsepower and 180 pound-feet of torque. Automotive mechanics often joke that the Vulcan V6 is a machine that converts gasoline into noise rather than power. It is a slow, sluggish engine. However, because it is so heavily understressed, it simply does not break. It is immune to the complex failures of modern engines. You should exercise caution if you look at the larger 4.0-liter SOHC V6 engine. While it provides significantly more power, it utilizes a complex timing chain system with guides located on the back of the engine block near the firewall. When those plastic guides fail, repairing the engine requires removing it completely from the truck. The Ranger was offered with a 5-speed manual transmission, built by Mazda, known as the M5OD-R1. This is a fantastic, crisp-shifting manual gearbox that makes driving the small truck incredibly engaging. If you prefer an automatic, Ford used the 5R44E 5-speed automatic. While it is a reliable unit, it requires clean fluid to operate the internal valve body solenoids correctly. The front suspension of the 1998 and newer Rangers shifted away from the unpredictable twin I-beam design to a more conventional, short/long-arm independent front suspension. This change vastly improved the highway handling and steering predictability. The rear suspension uses leaf springs mounted over a solid axle. A landscaper named Carlos utilized a 2004 Ford Ranger with the Vulcan V6 for his startup business. He loaded the small bed with heavy bags of topsoil, paving stones, and lawnmowers. He drove the truck to its absolute payload limits every single day. The truck was slow to accelerate up steep hills, but it never failed him. He crossed 310,000 miles on the original engine block, utilizing cheap, readily available replacement parts whenever something wore out. When evaluating a used Ford Ranger, you must inspect the vehicle for 3 specific common issues. First, the primary enemy of the Ford Ranger is rust. You must physically crawl underneath the rear of the truck. Inspect the rear leaf spring shackles and the rear frame rails near the spare tire mount. The factory steel in these specific areas is highly prone to rotting out completely. If the rear leaf spring hanger has detached from the frame due to rust, the truck is structurally compromised and unsafe to drive. Second, if you are looking at a manual transmission model, test the clutch hydraulic system. The Ranger uses an internal slave cylinder located inside the transmission bell housing. If the clutch pedal feels spongy, or if the transmission grinds when trying to shift into first gear or reverse from a dead stop, the internal slave cylinder is failing. Because the slave cylinder is internal, replacing it requires removing the entire transmission, which is a heavy labor expense. Third, check the DPFE sensor on the 3.0-liter Vulcan engine. This stands for Delta Pressure. Feedback EGR. This small electronic sensor manages the exhaust gas recirculation system. It frequently melts or fails due to hot exhaust gases. If the truck idles very roughly, stumbles when accelerating, or has a check engine light, this sensor is often the culprit. Fortunately, it sits right on top of the engine and takes 5 minutes to replace. Maintaining a Ford Ranger is incredibly inexpensive. Parts are available at every auto parts store in the country. Change the engine oil every 5,000 miles. If you have the manual transmission, drain and refill the transmission with fresh Mercon V automatic transmission fluid every 50,000 miles. Yes, the manual transmission utilizes automatic transmission fluid. You can find excellent, well-maintained Ford Rangers for $4,000 to $8,000. They are the perfect utility vehicle for weekend projects, runs to the hardware store, or teaching a young driver how to use a manual transmission. If this breakdown helped you realize you do not need an $80,000 luxury truck to haul some lumber, leave a comment below telling us what your first pickup truck was. We want to hear your stories. We have covered the mid-size and compact markets. But what if you need a full-size truck with a V8 engine that can tow a boat and outlive you? We have arrived at the ultimate benchmark of reliability. Number 1. The first generation Toyota Tundra. When the topic of reliable trucks comes up, people immediately mention the modern Toyota Tundra. However, modern Tundras have grown into massive, bloated vehicles. The newer generations use complex twin-turbo V6 engines that have suffered from severe main bearing failures. If you want the absolute pinnacle of Toyota truck engineering, you must look at the first generation Tundra, produced from 2000 to 2006. When Toyota introduced this truck, the American Big Three automakers laughed at it. They claimed it was a 7/8 scale truck. It was slightly smaller than a Ford F-150 or Chevrolet Silverado. It did not have the massive towing capacities of its American rivals, but Toyota was not trying to win a towing war. They were trying to build a truck that would operate perfectly for 30 years. The heart of this legend is the 4.7-liter 2 UZ-FEV8 engine. This engine was originally developed for the Toyota Land Cruiser, a vehicle designed to survive expeditions in the harshest environments on Earth. Toyota took that exact same heavy-duty engine and placed it in the Tundra. The 2 UZ-FE features a massive cast iron engine block and aluminum cylinder heads. It produces between 245 and 282 horsepower, depending on whether it has the later variable valve timing system. It is so incredibly over-engineered that it feels understressed even when pulling a heavy load up a mountain grade. To prove the durability of this specific truck, look at the famous case of Victor Shepard. He purchased a 2007 Toyota Tundra, equipped with this exact 4.7-liter V8 engine. He used the truck to deliver equipment across the United States, driving an average of 125,000 miles every single year. He performed routine maintenance, including oil changes and timing belt replacements. In 2016, he crossed 1 million miles on the original engine, original transmission, and original paint job. Toyota actually traded him a brand new truck, just so their engineers could tear down his million-mile engine. When they opened the engine block, they found the factory cross-hatching marks were still visible on the cylinder walls, indicating almost zero internal wear. The early Tundras used a 4-speed automatic transmission known as the A340E. In 2005, Toyota upgraded this to the 5-speed A750E automatic. Both transmissions are incredibly robust, provided the fluid is not neglected. The suspension features a double wishbone coil spring setup in the front and standard leaf springs in the rear. Because the truck is slightly smaller and lighter than a modern full-size truck, it handles more like a large SUV than a cumbersome commercial vehicle. It is easy to park, the visibility is excellent, and the turning radius is manageable. Despite its status as an automotive god, the first-generation Tundra has 3 specific failure points that you must aggressively inspect before buying. First, you must check the lower ball joints. This is the single biggest mechanical flaw of this generation. Toyota designed the front suspension so that the lower ball joint is under tension rather than compression. Over time, the internal joint wears out. If it fails while you are driving, the front wheel will completely detach from the steering knuckle, causing the truck to collapse onto the pavement and resulting in a total loss of steering steering control. You must ask the seller if the lower ball joints have been replaced with original equipment Toyota parts. Do not accept cheap aftermarket ball joints. If there is no record of replacement, budget to have them replaced the day you buy the truck. Second, you must verify the timing belt history. The 2UZ-FE is an interference engine. It relies on a heavy-duty rubber timing belt to keep the engine camshaft synchronized with the crankshaft. This belt must be replaced every 90,000 miles. If the belt snaps while the engine is running, the internal engine pistons will smash into the open cylinder valves, completely destroying the engine. Open the hood and look for a small silver sticker on the timing cover or the airbox that documents the date and mileage of the last timing belt service. If there is no sticker, you must assume the belt is original and factor a $1,000 repair into your purchase price. Third, you must thoroughly inspect the frame for rust. Toyota faced a massive multi-billion-dollar recall regarding severe frame rust on these vehicles. The frames were manufactured by a supplier named Dana Corporation, and they did not receive adequate rust-proofing protection. The frames would literally rot in half near the rear leaf spring mounts. Toyota recalled these trucks and replaced the entire steel frame for free. You must look underneath the truck. If the frame is painted in thick black wax and looks newer than the body, it was likely replaced. If the frame is covered in thick, flaking structural rust, or if you can poke a hole through the metal with a screwdriver, walk away immediately. The truck is unsafe to drive. If you find a Tundra with a clean frame, updated ball joints, and a fresh timing belt, you have found the ultimate vehicle. Change the engine oil every 5,000 miles. Drain and fill the transmission fluid every 50,000 miles. Grease the drive shaft fittings at every oil change. Because the secret is out regarding the million-mile longevity of the 2UZ-FE engine, these trucks hold their value incredibly well. You can expect to pay $10,000 to $18,000 for a clean example with around 150,000 miles. While that may seem high for an older truck, you are buying a vehicle that will easily double or triple that mileage without requiring a major powertrain overhaul. You do not need to finance an $80,000 supercomputer just to haul yard waste or pull a small boat. The modern automotive industry profits heavily from the illusion that newer technology equals better reliability. The truth is hidden in the past. By purchasing a simple Nissan Frontier, an honest Ford Ranger, or an indestructible first-generation Toyota Tundra, you secure your financial freedom. You bypass the severe depreciation curves, avoid the massive insurance premiums, and protect yourself from catastrophic mechanical failures. These dirt-cheap trucks may not impress the valet at a luxury restaurant, but they will start every single morning, do the hard work you ask of them, and outlast the shiny new trucks parked right next to them. If this video brought you value, please like to help us share this knowledge with others. Hit the subscribe button so you never miss our mechanical deep dives into the vehicles that actually respect your bank account. Drive smart, avoid the debt trap, and we will see you on the next one.